Words cannot express what we have experienced as a people. We're calling on the world in terms of justice, in terms of righteousness, reparations now. Carrying the legacy of Queen Mother Moore, I represent 50 million.
How do you discuss that issue, reparations, in the spirit of Queen Mother Audley Moore, who lived to be almost 100 years old and spent many of her days here lobbying at the United Nations? How would you address that? I thank you.
Every victim group in the world but one has been given its day in court. The Jews got their day in court. Japanese got their day in court. Koreans got their day in court. Everybody got their day in court, and everybody got the opportunity to compel the defendants to come forward and account for what they did. The only group that remains is Africans.
I'd like to also thank all of the panelists for reminding us of the international scope of the transatlantic slave trade and its legacies, and the accomplishments and achievements that are being made through UNESCO and others to commemorate, to help us remember slavery and its legacy.
First of all, in the spirit of my ancestors, I come before you. I thank Sister Cheryl and the other presenters. As you know, we come from a long history. As the Queen Mother, you know that I represent 55 million displaced Africans. And in that vein, as the Queen Mother of Goree Island, and as the Queen Mother of the African Burial Ground naming ceremony, Queen Mother is very much moved of your presentation and your work that you have given over a period of time. The question I want you to just relish for me as an elder, 50 years as a humanitarian here at the United Nations alone. When will we engage as the President of the General Assembly on Monday, March the 25th, echo her voice as Queen Mother has been echoing in the spirit of Queen Mother Moore? When will we engage with the word reparations? The greatest crime ever committed against us has been that transatlantic ocean of the slave trade. And when do we move toward the world owes us for that crime? Just me alone as an elder, I just want to leave for you. You can never pay me for that crime committed against me. But I will ask to negotiate $3 trillion for me as a loan, not as a loan, but as a down payment. So I'm saying to you young people, you great minds, and the work that you have done, how do you move the next generation into reparations? Reparations now is what we need to move on in the spirit of our ancestors. When will we do it? When? Thank you.
Thank you, Queen Mother, for that important question. Would any of the panelists like to address that?
Thank you, Queen Mother, for that very powerful question and that very important question. I think that it shouldn't really even be a question. I know that currently it's becoming more and more prevalent, even in terms of like the discussion and the discourse. I think that a lot of the work that we've been doing as architects, as artists, as curators, as humanitarians has been to educate and communicate the true history and try to uncover what has been concealed from so many people for so long. And to my surprise, there are people that are even running for political office now that are beginning to make the case for reparations that maybe a few years ago I wouldn't even believe that they would even say that. And I think it's something that we all need to be able to acknowledge and stand together in unity for reparations. And I think that other communities outside of the African descendant community are also beginning to stand for that as well, because it is a human history and a human suffering that we're talking about. And once we're able to acknowledge that truth through the work that we do, I think people are going to be able to acknowledge the fact that we have to come together and demand that not just an apology, but that we have to make amends and to transform our current conditions and the conditions of African people around the world.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, you have reintroduced the Conyers Bill, HR40, correct?
I am very grateful that Congressman Conyers thought I would be the member of Congress to bring this bill back again for reintroduction, which was done in last Congress and this Congress. But it ties into the climate that we're in. We should not be ashamed of the fact that America needs to be fine-tuned every couple of decades or every couple of years. And it gives me a degree of sadness for people not to understand that the Congress has to fix things, and we need to fix and cure voter suppression through the restoration of the Voting Rights Act and the protection of the Section 5, again restoring it, but also in this climate when so many incidences are happening, but also the economic impasse that is happening with the economy and education and healthcare as it impacts minority communities, particularly African Americans. The Reparations Commission is an appropriate vehicle to assess this, and I'm very grateful that a number of presidential candidates have said that they support the study.